In the second part of the series, we talked about different things that agents can do to reduce the risk of being targeted by either a power or a profit criminal in our marketing materials. We also discussed how we can make the predator lose interest by not giving them any information in our marketing materials and/or social media that would help feed their emotional high that they get from stalking someone, and keeping separate personal and professional pages in our social media for that reason as well. Lastly, we discussed how we can use our active listening skills during our initial phone call to uncover inconsistencies or red flags that may mean this person isn't a legitimate prospect. Always bring someone on an appointment. This would be an optimal situation, but is it realistic? Not for most agents. Now, we are not saying don't take someone with you, not at all. But unfortunately, most agents have been conditioned not to bring someone with them unless it is an extreme situation. If it's a high-risk situation, always take someone with you. But how do we distinguish between high-risk and low-risk situations? Let's learn to use evaluations and assessments to make a more informed decision based on the information collected for that specific situation on a case-by-case basis, whether or not to take someone with us on that appointment. By understanding how to evaluate the prospect, property, and circumstances, you can assess the overall risk of an appointment so that you can make better decisions about your safety and the safety of your colleagues on an appointment-by-appointment basis. We talked about evaluating the prospect. Now let's look at evaluating the property. As the listing agent, taking the time to learn about the property and the neighborhood, and then sharing that information with the other agents through the Brokers Only Notes field is a critical factor in helping your colleagues stay safe as well. As the listing agent, spending a little time introducing yourself to the neighbors is an excellent strategy for getting additional business. Additionally, it is also an extremely valuable safety strategy. Take the time to find out information about the neighborhood. Is there a neighborhood watch? If so, how active is it? Is there any law enforcement living on the block or in the immediate neighborhood? Is it an active neighborhood? Do the neighbors know each other and or socialize with one another? This is all important information that you can use in your initial conversation to impress a legitimate prospect, but also deter a possible predator or opportunistic thief. Additionally, look for any abandoned houses in the immediate area. Even if the house you are showing is not abandoned, neighborhoods with abandoned houses may be more attractive to someone intending to commit a crime. You already evaluate the property to market and price it correctly. Now you can do the same to determine the risk level of the property. Let's look at some important factors. Vacancy. Is the property vacant? A vacant property greatly increases the risk, and you should always take someone with you in this instant. Basement. Is there a basement at this location? A basement greatly increases the risk because a predator's goal is to get you isolated where you can't be seen or heard, and a basement is an optimal environment. If there is one, do not go into the basement with your prospect. Remain at the top of the stairs. A garage. Does the home have a garage? Is it attached? Can you open the door easily? The existence of a garage can greatly increase your risk if it's attached and the door is closed. In that instance, do not go into the garage with your prospect. Outbuildings. Do not go into outbuildings with your prospect. Have them unlocked and accessible before the showing begins. Cell signal. If there is a weak or non-existent cell signal, you should always take someone with you on that appointment as well. Exterior lighting. Is the property well lit? This is very important for evening or nighttime showings. Interior lighting. Is the house well lit? This increases your visibility from the exterior of the building. Windows. Are there plenty of windows, especially in the front of the home? Do they provide an unobstructed view from the outside of the home and vice versa? Ideally, you want to have both yourself and your prospect always visible from the outside. A one-story building is always safer than a multi-story building because they have better access to escape paths should you need to make a quick exit. Do you have at least 2 escape paths from any point in the house? Multiple escape paths reduce the risk because a predator can't block your escape path if it's needed. Exterior doors. How many exterior doors does the building have? The more exterior doors, the more possible escape paths. Is there a storm door or a secondary door? Storm doors can slow down an escape. Does the yard obstruct the view into the house from other houses or the street? Does the yard provide an escape route to another house or the street? The fencing. Is the front yard or backyard fenced? Does it have a gate? If so, is it locked? A locked gate means that this is no longer a potential escape path. No class or guide can anticipate every layout of every house, so be sure to use common sense and think critically. The more visible you are and the more escape paths available to you, the safer you are. If the property is not your listing, you'll need to rely on the listing agent for information about the neighborhood and the property. This is where sharing safety information in the broker's only notes is critical. If there is nothing there, take the time to preview the property and neighborhood yourself and/or reach out to the listing agent to learn about the property from a safety point of view. Now that you have evaluated the prospect and property, you can come up with an overall risk assessment using the EAR worksheet. The process is simple. The worksheet contains all the criteria we have discussed with a corresponding positive or negative value. After filling out the sheet, simply add the numbers together to arrive at the overall risk assessment. The lower the score, the higher the risk. Let's review the EAR worksheet. The first section is evaluating the prospect. Is the prospect a stranger? Did they find me on the internet? Are they a cash buyer? Are they looking for a foreclosure? Are they from out of town? Are they a referral from a previous client? Are they a close friend or relative of the person that referred you? Did you confirm the prospect with the referrer? The prospect can't articulate what they are looking for in a home. The prospect can only meet at a specific time that is after dark. Prospect says they are an investor looking for empty homes. Prospect says you can't call them back. Prospect stumbles over lifestyle questions. Prospect is specific about what they are looking for in a home. Prospect is flexible with meeting time and date. Prospect is open to seeing other homes. Prospect freely gives their phone number. The next section is talking about the property itself. The property is off the beaten path. There is no or poor cell phone reception. The property is poorly lit. The property has a basement. The property has only one exterior door. The property is in a typical suburban neighborhood. Good cell phone reception. The property is well lit. There are multiple exit doors. It's a one-story home. Limited windows and poor visibility, or abundant windows and good visibility. The final portion is talking about circumstances. You have an uncomfortable feeling. You need to close a deal. It's an abandoned property. And we're going to talk about a few more of those here in just one moment. Depending on your experience, your situation, and the policies of your brokerage and/or association, you can customize the worksheet to meet your needs. The worksheet is designed to put everything in one easy location and to get you into the habit of looking at things from a different perspective. The overall risk score is not an absolute number. It is a relative number designed to help you determine the risk of an appointment. However, there are a few absolutes we want to share with you. Remember that when we talk about bringing someone with you, it doesn't have to be another agent. It can be a friend, a spouse, etc. Always bring someone on an appointment with you if you have poor or no cell service at the property. If something happened to you or your prospect, you would have someone who could go get help without leaving anyone alone. The property is vacant. The danger at an abandoned property isn't just the potential for the predator to get you alone where you can't be seen or heard. There is also the possibility of a squatter being on premises. When confronted, the squatter's fight or flight response will kick in. If there's 3 or more people there, they will usually run. This is a safety in numbers situation. The property is in a rural area and the prospect found you online. This is a situation where it will be extremely easy to get you isolated because you will not be in a neighborhood and there will probably not be any people or buildings in eye or earshot to see or hear you if you need help. You have an uncomfortable feeling prior to the appointment. Listen to your gut. If it's telling you something isn't right, believe it and take someone along. You are desperate for a sale. When you are feeling stressed out to make a sale, you may ignore red flags and put yourself in a compromised situation without realizing it because you are so focused on closing the deal. The next section of our series will address using a safe showing routine while preparing for and conducting the showing of a home to decrease our risk.